Hit the subscribe button and make sure that you're staying abreast of everything on our channel, and be sure to turn on your notifications so that you know when we post new videos.
Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Angela Cudger, your host and founder and metaphysician at Legacy Holistic Health Institute. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a subject that is so near and dear to my heart. We are going to be covering intermittent fasting. All things fasting, all things IF. I'm going to talk to you about some really cool benefits of fasting if you don't already know them. And I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my journey with fasting and what I'm currently doing when it comes to fasting and things like that. Really quickly, if you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. We welcome you with open arms into the conscious community. Thank you for being here. My hope is that you will find tremendous value in the information that is on this channel. We post new videos every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can get some kind of value before you head off to work. And then we also post a mini series every month. And I think the mini series for October is the 9 dimensions, or exploring the 9 dimensions. And those are kind of divvied out over our time together during the month. But you get a tremendous amount of content and value in the way of metaphysics, healing, health, wellness, and wholeness. Right? If you're returning to the channel, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for your likes, your shares, and your subscribes. It means the world to me. So I change a little bit of something every time I do videos on this channel. I try to make sure that the sound quality is good, the picture quality is good, while this channel is growing. So if there's something you want to see more of, something you'd like to see a shift, let me know, and I'm happy to do that for you. All right, let's jump into it. Intermittent fasting. First, let's talk real quickly about what fasting actually is. Fasting has to do not necessarily about what we eat, but actually when we eat it. So our bodies are always trying to process information. And one of the things we have to remember is that just like a computer needs time to process information, our bodies actually need time to process information too. And so I always kind of liken this to a person who's like a secretary who's working, and you come and you bring these file folders to the secretary and say, here, put these away, sort these out. And then before they can get done, you bring another stack of file folders to them, and they're working while they're working on the previous one. And then you bring another stack. These stacks of file folders are equivalent to the food that we eat, okay? And before the body has an opportunity to actually work through and assimilate all of the calories, all of the carbs, the protein, the salt, the fat, before it has time to even work through all of that stuff, we're giving it another meal. And so here's what happens over time. Because I want you to understand that your body is this amazing type of machine. And whatever you put into the body, it has to process and then create or generate new cells, your hair, skin, nails, all of these beautiful things, the cells of your organs, right? All of these things start to happen and be created or turn over newness in the body based on what we feed the body. Now, if we give it great quality stuff, it's going to kick out great quality cells. If we give it things that are not as great, not as healthy, or we don't give it time to properly process our food, then we're going to find that the body holds things in excess. This is where we have obesity. This is where we tend to have growth, tumors, different things that are happening in the body because it doesn't have the opportunity to work through all of this stuff. That is where fasting comes into play. Fasting gives the body an opportunity to rest all of its systems and actually process everything that it has there. And that way, everything coming into the body is efficiently processed afterwards. It keeps your gut clean. It allows your thinking to be clearer, and it allows for a deeper spiritual pathway. And we're going to talk a little bit about why that's important here before this video is over. So when we're talking about intermittent fasting, now that we know that everybody needs a break. I know there are some people who are like, I don't like fasting. I can't go without food. The human being is psychophysical. That means whatever I think I can or cannot do becomes my actual reality. So if you're a person that says, well, I can't fast for 48 hours, I can't go without food for 48 hours. We are traditionally wired to go long periods of time without food. we have made ourselves, right, think that we need all of these meals, that we need to look a certain way. And I am giving you this information so that you will have it to be able to shift your life when it's time for you to do so. Okay. And so when we're talking about IF, we're talking about the different ways that we let the body rest to be able to process all of the food that we've given it. And so the different kinds of IF we're talking about, the most common type of intermittent fasting is called the lean gains method. Now, the lean gains method is 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of feeding. Every fasting regimen has a feeding window. It has a feasting window where you actually open the window and you eat foods during a certain time. And it has a fasting window. The fasting window is also including the time that you are sleeping. No one's eating while their eyes are closed and they're sleeping. So this is actually counted towards your fasting time. So keep that in mind as well. And so when we're looking at IF, lean gains is the most common kind. And lean gains is the easiest because, especially if you're someone who doesn't eat until noon or later, that means you probably stopped eating at 8 or 9 p.m. the night before, and you're fasting all the way through till noon or later, and you're picking up and eating. Most people who are busy professionals or entrepreneurs find themselves doing the lean gains method, even if they don't want to. Right. And so they find themselves on this track anyway. And so if you're someone who's like that, you want to give your body the opportunity to process the food as much as you can. During your fasting time, we're going to talk a little bit about what you do with that. The other method is called the alternate day fasting. The alternate day fasting means that you're going to eat for 24 hours, feast for 24 hours, and fast for 24 hours. And during your feasting time, it's your job to really get all of your calories in. So if you're someone who's on a 2,000 calorie diet and it's what you require, you're training, you don't have a sedentary lifestyle, you want to make sure that during that feasting window, you're getting all those calories in. And it makes it more challenging when it's an 8-hour window because you got to fit everything in. And that's why some people find that alternate day fasting works better for them. So that means they feast for 24 hours and they fast for 24 hours and they keep that alternate day. When you're trying to reset your hormones or reset your gut, one of the best things that you can do is extend these fasts beyond the 24 hours. This is specifically true if you're someone who's been diagnosed with cancer, you have proof of some kind of growth in the body that is not a normal growth. Fibroids, hormonal imbalance, tumors, cancer, right? Anything that's in the body that is a growth in the body that shouldn't be there, it is ill processed information, or it comes from highly processed foods that the body just does not know what to do with. Okay. The way that you get this to reverse in your body is to, number one, slow the ability of it to grow, stop feeding it. The way you do that is to extend the fast beyond 24 hours. Okay. And obviously, if you're doing a water fast or if you're doing a dry fast, you want to make sure that you are also consulting with your doctor. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're consulting with your doctor and they're giving you information and they're following you and they have panels drawn on you and they have proof that you need to fast, right? But they also have the ability to give you the information about how your fast is going. Okay. I've been a medical practitioner for over 25 years in anesthesiology, clinical research, and respiratory therapy. I spent the better part of my career in critical care, and I know quite a bit about treatment modalities, and I know just as much on the metaphysical and holistic healing side as well when it comes to herbs, when it comes to reversing disease processes, and when it comes to truly putting the body in an alkaline state. And so one of the things I want to be clear on is that when I fast, I'm clear on the things that go in my body and the things that I need to watch out for. Okay. And so we've got the alternate day fasting. You've got the lean gains method. There are other methods of fasting as well, but you want to look at extending those hours if you have proof that there's something else going on in your body. Some people also extend these fasts with just fruits and vegetables. And so they don't eat any kinds of processed foods or carbs. They only eat fresh, and they might extend that for 30 days. Truthfully, research shows that you only need a 7-day extended fast once per year to keep yourself from ever getting cancer or any form of disease. I usually do 36 hours and 12 hours alternating in 5 sets. And I do these at the beginning of every month. So I allow myself to do herbal teas and water, because those don't take you out of your fast as long as you're not adding sugar or anything else to them. So I allow myself to do green tea and water for 36 hours and then feast for 12 hours. This is one of the things, the immediate thing that I noticed was that my brain fog cleared up. I was much more focused. I was highly intentional, and I could immediately see the toxicity and toxic behaviors of other people. So when you are fasting and you're fasting properly, you're going to see things start to come to you that you normally wouldn't know, because your body's spending all of its energy trying to process the foods that you put into your body. So fasting is huge. You can also fast for spiritual benefits as well. I found that I was able to get deeper into my meditations. I found that I was able to be more mindful of what my body felt like. And once I was more mindful of what my body felt like, literally, I was like, I think I need to go to the doctor, right? Strangest thing in the world. I said, I think I need to go to the doctor. I'm not feeling at my best, right? I feel like there is something else going on with me. And I kept fasting and I kept fasting. And the partner that I used to be with at the time was like, I don't like you fasting. I like you with a certain kind of weight on you. I like you like this, or I like, all of these ego-driven things when my body was calling me to fast. One of the things we have to know is that when we are truly mindful of our being, when we are truly connected to who we are, we get messages all the time, and it's our job to listen to our body and not what other people think we should be. Okay. So I ended up setting a doctor's appointment, and I went to the doctor, and they said, well, this specific OB was just brilliant. It was like, I'm going to order a pelvic ultrasound because I just want to make sure nothing else is going on. I feel like something's off too. And what do you know? The pelvic ultrasound showed uterine fibroids. Now, I don't have fibroids in my family. I don't even personally know of anybody with fibroids. And I know that a lot of women feel like this is common. But one of the things that she told me as soon as she saw the outcome, she said, you need to fast. That is exactly what she told me. And I said, okay, I do fast. She said, you need to do an extended fast. And I'm going to do a separate video on the type of fast she told me to do. She said, you need to reset your gut, reset the microbiome of your gut. And then I want you to go into herbs, and I want you to get back into veganism and stay that way and heal these over the next 6 months to a year. We can recheck an ultrasound after 90 days to make sure that it's going in the right direction. But this is what I want you to do. And so obviously I was truly grateful for all of her knowledge, and I'm following that regimen now. But I'm gonna do a separate video about what that regimen is all about and how I'm following it and what to actually do, especially if you're someone who has hormonal imbalance, or you're someone who actually has fibroids as well. And so this is what I'm saying. When your body is telling you to do something, lean into that thing. Fasting helps you hear better about what your body needs. Don't ever if you get a hunch about your body, don't ever let anybody try to tell you that you're wrong, ever, because your body is always giving you information. And fasting helps us get that information. Had I not been on a fasting regimen at all, I probably wouldn't have even picked up on the mindfulness that my body was actually going through something. I probably never would have picked up on it. And so you definitely want to be keyed into fasting and its benefits. So let's run it down real quick. So we know that fasting brings us mental clarity. It brings us greater focus. and it clears up any kind of brain fog. It gives us a better space of mindfulness so that we can feel and understand what's going on in our being, right? The other thing that it does is it helps balance our hormones. And so one of the people that I follow is Dr. Mindy Pelz. I love Dr. Mindy Pelz. If you're not following her, please follow her. She wrote the book Fast Like a Girl. And when I really got into fasting a lot here in the past, like 6 or 7 months, her book and her information is what I picked up on. And so I learned how to fast with my monthly cycles. Had I not plugged this fasting regimen in with my monthly cycles and in with the moon cycles, I probably never would have been keyed into the fact that something else was going on inside my body. Do you hear me? So I was able to make sure that every single time I did these 5 rounds of 36 and 12, where I was doing herbal teas or green teas and for 36 hours and seed oils for 36 hours, and then 12 hours of feasting on, at the time I was pescatarian, but now I'm like, I'm not even eating anything that's animalistic at all ever again, right? Because we're looking to reverse this. My body's calling me to reverse this. I can feel it internally, right? It's a sense of knowingness that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that there's something else that I'm becoming as a result of being on this journey. Fasting is so important. It's so important, and it's worth learning how to fast so that in a way that works for you. Now, you might not do rounds of 36 and 12, but you do need to do this in alignment with your cycle. And on the first day that your cycle is on, if you still get a cycle, that's the day you need to start fasting. And you need to fast for those 4 days, 5 days, and then taper off. And then that's when your hormones start to shift and your body's no longer conducive for a fast. So you're not doing a fast just arbitrarily whenever you feel like it. Yes, and listen to that. But you're going to get the greatest benefit and hormonal balance and microbiome and gut balance out of it when you do it in alignment with your cycles. All right. So the other benefits of fasting, besides hormonal balance and besides, improved cognitive function and brain health, we want to make sure that we're also looking at enhanced fat loss. So I want you to know that women over 40, and I'm currently, at the time of this video, I'm 43. And so almost 44, but you want to be aware of the fact that as a woman over 40, right, 40 and over, you absolutely need fasting periods of time to keep your fat growth of your fat cells in check and to start to let your body slough off or get rid of destructed or destroyed cell matter within the body. So your cells are always kind of crunching up things, and there's good stuff and there's bad stuff. The bad stuff has to be swept out, right? It's something called autophagy, where it's called cell destruction. It's a scientific term. Autophagy, we want to put the body in autophagy so that basically it's taking out the trash, is what I like to call it. And so that only happens when you're in an extended fast state. I have the Life app that allows me to track my fasting, and it allows me to fast with other people. So I can get insights on fasting. And if enough people from this community want to do that, I can start a fasting circle for us on the Life app. I can start a legacy fasting circle for us if you like. Let me know that in the comments below. And give this video a thumbs up if that's something that you want to see us do. And it's for people to get encouragement, and it's for them to get insight during their long-term fast. Now, after the detox fast that I'm currently on, I'm going to go into a raw fruits and vegetables fast. And then from there, I'm going to continue that out probably for the next 6 months. So am I going to look different? Probably, right? I will say in the first 7 days, just from not having things in my body that were inflaming me, my scale dropped by like 10 pounds, right? Like 9.7 pounds is what my scale dropped just from eliminating things that might possibly be toxic. Now, I don't know which one of the things that were in my regular everyday diet were toxic, but I know it feels like my body has deflated. I feel it. I can sense this clearing out, right? My body feels more alkaline. Okay. And so the goal here is to make sure that we create an environment in the body that's conducive to healing, right? And so the other benefits of fasting, besides regulated fat loss, or it kicks us into a fat loss phase, when you're tracking this through the Life app will let you know when you've hit these phases. Certain ones only happen after 12 hours. Some only happen after 24 hours. Some only happen after 36 hours. But you want to have some kind of app to track it so you know what phase you're in. So you know when the fat burning starts for you. And it will keep you motivated and keep you on track with it. So we know that it can repair the cells. We know that it enhances fat loss. We know that it creates an alkaline state in the body. We know that it clears up brain fog. We know that it balances our hormones. And the last thing I want to share with you that fasting does is it increases your energy. I have never felt so healthy, fit, and well than when I started fasting. It is unbelievable how much further I can actually get with my physical workouts. Now, make no mistake, the first few days can be taxing. But if you are taking your vitamins, your vitamin D, your trace minerals, right? Your C minerals, your C moss, if you are taking these things and giving the body the basic things that it needs to thrive, then you're going to create energy. Vitamin B12 is another one that's necessary. And so I'm going to definitely do a video about my fibroids journey, because I know that a lot of women suffer from this and they feel like they don't have any other choice. And my goal is to help you understand that just like it has been set up in the body, you can go back and heal it. You can go back and fix it. Just like you created the perfect environment to create that, you can create the perfect environment to reverse it. Okay. And so I want you, if you haven't ever tried fasting, you need to add it to your life, period. I remember hearing a study about this man who had a cancer diagnosis, and he had only a short amount of time to live. And instead of opting for treatment and all of the other stuff, he kind of just walked away from everything and went to this remote place and decided that he was not going to do anything more for himself. He wasn't going to eat anything. He wasn't going to drink anything. His goal was to fast, malnourish himself, and eventually, pass away from that. Well, what he ended up doing was healing himself, and the cancer literally went away, right? And so one of the things we have to remember is that we have the ultimate ability to heal this physical body. Now, we know this body's not going to last forever, but we get to decide the environment inside of it and the energy outside of it. And so the other thing I want to say to you is you want to make sure that you're in a community of people who actually condone fasting, because we live in a society where we eat for celebrations. We eat when we're mourning. We're always eating. We are a consumer-driven society of beings on this planet. And we are created not to be feeders. We are actually created to be the opposite. And so it's important that we fast. It's important that a fasting regimen is a permanent part of our self-care and self-preservation. It's important that this is a part of our lives. Listen, I hope you got something amazing out of this video. If you want to hear more about my fasting journey and the detox fast that I did and that I am still on, it's for 14 days. And then I'm going to go into full-fledged veganism, starting with a different kind of raw foods, herbs, and things like that. You want to see a video about any of that? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll be glad to make that for you. Listen, I never take the role of teacher lightly. My goal is to bring you so much value that you can use whatever you need to have a sustainable, beautiful, holistic, and healthy lifestyle. Thank you so much for being part of my channel. Love and light to you.